All right, boys. Welcome to the YouTube intro video for the exclusive podcast. I am here, Ryder, Grant, whatever you want to call me. I'm here by myself, all right? And I know that's a little sad. I know you're missing Jack and Mims, but it's just an intro video, okay? We're just going to go over some housekeeping things. Get you to watch the channel /pod. We're going to tell you why we are 100% better than your current sports podcast. We have put together a PowerPoint presentation for you boys, and it's lit. It's lit. Now, it's not really that lit, actually. I may have over exaggerated just there. The cover's lit. I made it very pretty so we can get some clicks here. But as far as decoration goes, that's about it. So if you're bored with the visuals, my apologies. You can look away if you want, but we do have some things to go over. So let's get started. First point we wanted to make here, we're a healthy combination, all right? And before we start, actually, I am going to be reading these slides. I'm not going to be reading them word for word. I'm not going to read every slide. I'm going to speak on the general point we want to make, and then we're going to move on. All right. So with that being said, we here at the exclusive podcast believe we provide a show with a healthy balance of humor and statistics, sensical takes and nonsensical takes. All right. Not too much of one and not too much of the other. It's a perfect balance, if you will. Okay. So what we mean by this, we feel like some shows are a little too formal with delivering sports podcasting, if you will. All right. We just feel like it's a little boring at times. It's just like all stats, all serious takes, no like debate, no cutting up, man. And it's just it kind of sucks sometimes. And then on the other hand, we got the podcasts who can't be serious for the life of them. They're supposed to be a sports podcast, but it just feels like a comedy show for sports fans. It's you can't call yourself a sports podcast if all you're doing is making jokes. You got to get some serious takes off every now and then. And we believe we have created a podcast with the perfect balance between the two. All right. That's a pretty strong point to start with, if I do say so myself. I am about to take a sip of my Pepsi because my throat is going dry. Oh, yeah. Got to hydrate. All right. Moving on. Number 2, we do not steal, copy, or recycle anyone else's content to the best of our knowledge. All right. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, yo, to the best of our knowledge, that's kind of like a cop out, like a shitty, it's like a loophole in a contract. But no, what we mean by this is we just got to say this in case of a crazy coincidence were to occur, like let's just say we thought we were being original with one of our segments and we were out here proclaiming, oh, this is the exclusive whatever, and somebody just digs up some random podcast where they had already done it, man. That's what we mean by the best of our knowledge. We are not out here scalping sports podcasts looking for segments and takes to get off, okay? If you're out here watching an episode of Pardon My Take, Bill Simmons, the Trill Withers Show, any show you might listen to, you're not going to come here and get the same shit, okay? This is going to be original. It's like, as far as I'm concerned, none of us even listen to like name brand podcasts. So like there will be none of that. And if there is, we will cease it immediately. Just let somebody know. We try to the best of our ability to provide fresh, original content and opinions. The opinions part is not debatable. these are all straight us. Like this is all genuine Jack Grant memes. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not anybody else talking. We're not reading an article and being like, oh, well, yeah, that sounds smart. Let's say that at the pod. Like, no. These are we're only talking about shit that we want to talk about, first of all. And second of all, we're only making points that we feel we need to make. All right. There's only so much time in the pod. All right. So I feel like this is really important, though. On a serious note, we don't steal, we don't copy, we don't recycle. This is all original shit. And I feel like that's pretty cool. I feel like that's pretty dope. All right, moving on. Third point, one of my favorite points. We aren't frauds, okay? And what this means is I'm not going to name any names, okay? But there are some crazy men on national television who happen to have their own TV shows, TV segments, okay? And there have been times where said person slash peoples are talking about a topic and do not know what they're talking about. And it is only made apparent because they continue to talk about the topic. And it's just like, you're exposing yourself, bro. And it's embarrassing. Like, I'm not going to give any examples. It's not that deep, but like, that's the point we are making here. We're not afraid to admit that we don't know something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not afraid to admit we're casuals. For example, I'm somewhat of a casual UFC fan, you could say. And Jack is more on the hardcore side. So if Jack's over here babbling about some fucking UFC prelim undercard, yada, yada, I'm going to sit and listen. I'm not going to sit and make up a bullshit opinion or take that I don't even believe just to say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am only saying things I feel like need to be said, or I'm directing the show, whatever, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never gonna be we're forcing shit. You know what I'm saying? And we're not afraid to admit that we don't know what we're talking about, because nobody likes a know-it-all. Nobody ever has. And it's really quite simple. We just don't act like we are, and we're not. So yeah, it's simple. Just be yourself. Moving on. We're all born day one fans, okay? This isn't a joke. We were all raised to love sports. We're all going to raise our children to love sports. As corny as that may sound, it's just the truth. There wasn't a better way to word this. You just can't fake the fandom that we have. And you can hear it listening to our episodes. I mean, as it states here, 2 to 2.5 hours weekly, sometimes more, sometimes less. You can't do that on a week in, week out basis, sometimes more than once a week. Okay, let me rephrase this. We could spew bullshit for 2 and 2.5 hours. I'm the one who uploads these things. I am not uploading shit where I sound like a dumbass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want these to be good quality podcasts with good debates, good points, sometimes terrible points. I just want to have a good time talking sports with the boys. And maybe one day we're hoping to build a community where we can get you guys involved with the pod, and we'll get to that in a second, actually. But yeah, I mean, as it says here, referring to the slide again, our beautiful slide here, outside of recording, it is just in our nature to discuss sports. So when we are recording, I can only speak for myself here. I forget we're recording sometimes. Like, it's honestly so much fun. It's literally just, hey, you want to hop on a Zoom call and just start fucking chopping it up about whatever's going on this week. And that's all this is. And it's awesome, and it's so much fun, and we love doing it. And yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. Okay, so ESPN, CBS Sports Network, Fox Sports, and Bleacher Report do not currently employ a single soul that withholds the same passion about sports as all three of us. This is facts. All right. And I'm sure most of you listening to this, if you still are listening to this, I appreciate you. Much love. I'm sure you feel the same way though. All right. And I believe you. I can't speak for Mims and Jack. They're not here with me, but I'm sure they believe you too. It's probably why you're listening. You love sports. You can't get enough. All right. And the thing about these big brand name companies that have the tools and money to market and produce these shows that everyone watches, some of these guys are just journalists from prestigious schools that just landed a good paying job. And the job just so happened to be covering sports. Okay. Now that's not always the case, actually pretty rare, but most of the, I would say it's more rare in the case of it being a TV anchor. It's more so in the case of it being like a journalist. Like if you see an article written or like a tweet, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just very easy to tell when someone did not grow up with sports. Whether that be just like a casual take, like, oh, like we've seen this a million times and you're still thinking that X is gonna win. Like whatever it is, there's always just like a telltale sign of someone who just did not grow up with this shit. And that's just not us. And it's very apparent by listening to us and what we have to say, why we say the things, we back up everything we say. But yeah, and if you don't believe me, we all three challenge you to just try to consume like any of these people's, like just read some articles. Like they're not all bad. Like some of these guys have some of the best ever working for them today. But like on the other hand, there are guys who have no business being in the same room. And it's not consistent. And we are consistent because I mean, what is there to be inconsistent about? It's the same three dudes on the fucking mic every episode. There's never going to be inconsistency. So, another point that we made here, we feel like sports are, especially in the case of like Sports Center, and I guess that's the point of the show, but still, it just feels like it's presented as if it was like on CNN or Fox in your grandparents' room, you know? It should be more fun. It should be more fun. And the debate should get heated. I just feel like sometimes on ESPN, you just see dry, like sports content, man. It's just like, I don't know who it's for, honestly. Sometimes I just sit there and I'm like, who is this for? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this is just like where you'll find genuine sound. Like, I don't know. We just have more fucking heart about this shit than most people do. Last slide here, and then we'll say our goodbyes. This is kind of a slide explaining why we made this podcast and what our goal in making this is and what we're working towards, continuously releasing episodes with no viewership. Our goal is to develop a community of listeners that like we can interact with and incorporate into our shows. We want to answer your like questions. We want to get questions. We want people to ask us questions. We want to ask people questions. This is a big thing. We want to have a guest, not a guest. We want to have this should be plural, guest whose names hold little to no value to an average listener. So if there's some dude in Utah listening to the show and I get one of our local homies that some of you guys may know and others may not, they should be able to come onto this podcast, see a random name in the title, and just without question being able to click on it and expect a good, genuine sports conversation debate. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes like with Pardon My Take, they and they're so big now, you can't fault them for this. It feels like sometimes you only click on their episodes for the interview. You know what I'm saying? Just for the name. We want to be the opposite of that. We want you to come back because you love listening to this, not because we have so and so on or whatever. We want randoms to come on and have good ass talks, with just a fucking random person, and the content, what's the word? Potential, I guess you could say, and just having random listeners on to a show is endless. Like, it's like call-ins with, like, we don't have to know who's coming out. We could bring crackheads on. It does not matter. Like, we want to have like just a fun show, just something different. And this is an idea that we had, and this is what we're doing. And we haven't been making money. We've been putting our own money and time outside of our work and school into this shit for fun because we want to. And I've sat here the past however many minutes tooting our own horn, and it sounds like we just think we got it all. We're the best podcast ever. That's not what we think, guys. We know we're not the wittiest, easy to listen to people, like we're getting better. We don't have $1,000 microphones and producing equipment. Like, no, like, this is recorded on a laptop through Zoom, bro, on Xbox mics. Like, this is just like I'm saying, like, this is just a true, genuine, gritty, like, fan show. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we want it to be. And we don't really have any intention on improving much of that. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, it's just raw and it's real. Like, there's no editing done in any of these videos, including this one whatsoever. This was one take, like, talk through. Like, this is what we want. We want to be transparent, and we want to be interactive, and we want to build a community of listeners and fans, and, like, not even fans, just people that we could fucking interact with. We want to be your friends. We don't want to be your fucking, like, idols. You should not look up to any of us. And the other two can attest to what I'm saying right now. We are going to keep dropping shit, as we're not going anywhere. So, like, you might as well just subscribe and tell a friend. So with that being said, thank you for listening. We love you so much. If you've made it this far, I would suggest, if you're still here, subbing, because I mean, if you're still here, you're listening for a reason. But only sub if you think that this is a channel that you would enjoy and something that you would interact with, because we don't want just people clicking in, just never interacting again. That's not what we're asking for. We want people to listen, And if you don't like it, that's fine. At least you gave it a shot, and that means more to us than you could ever know. But that's really all we're asking. Just try it out, give it a chance. And if you don't like it, that's cool too. Share it with a friend, And if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, let one of us know. Comment on any of these videos. We'll find it. All of our socials are all over at the Exclusive Pod YT. You can find us on Instagram. We're back on Instagram. We took a hiatus from there. We're back on Instagram, Twitter. We're looking to get on Apple Podcasts soon. We are on Spotify and some other shit. I don't know. I'll have to honestly check on that. But and YouTube, obviously, this is where you are. And yeah, if you think this is something that this just sounded like something that you would be interested in, please just hit the sub button and see what we got for you. You know what I'm saying? Just give us a chance. Our community is small right now, yes, but everyone starts somewhere, and every sub, follow, and interaction helps towards the bigger picture. And we have a bigger picture. Like, we have a plan. We just literally, we cannot execute said plan without a community, even if it's fucking miniature. We're going to keep doing things the way we have been doing them, but we have bigger and better ideas. It can't be done without some sort of following. So please, if you're listening, thank you again. Thank you so much for listening. It means the world to all three of us. Subscribe, like, follow, just interact with us, please. Let me know if you heard this. It means the world to me. Recording this pretty early. Sleepless night. Wouldn't have it any other way. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back with another episode soon if you're listening within some time recent of this recording. But other than that, yeah, love you guys.